Welcome to another edition of Granger Talk, the podcast that brings you the inside scoop on all things happening at LaGrange and beyond. We are your hosts, Jamie Bozeman, Aiden Blackwell, and Keita Placid. Today we're continuing our series on the Granger Graduate Profile. In episode 2, we delved deep into the defining traits of what a true Granger really is. Today, we're thrilled to take a step further as we sit down with 3 exceptional students who epitomize the essence of Granger greatness. First off, we have the winner of the Mr. LHS pageant and distinguished honor graduate, Mr. Demetri Hatten. The first runner-up and to the Mr. LHS pageant and the 2024 LHS Salutatorian, Mr. Carson Farris, and the winner of the Miss LHS pageant and the 2024 LHS Valedictorian, Miss Alisa Lee. Congratulations, students, on everything that y'all have accomplished this year.
Thank you.
All right, as we get started here today, first of all, we'll start off to my left. That's with Mr. Demetri Hatten, and then we'll kind of work ourselves around the table with Miss Alisa Lee and Carson Farris. Guys, just tell us a little bit about, number one, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey here at LaGrange High School over the last 4 years.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bozeman. My name is Demetri Hatten. I'm, of course, a senior here at LHS. I'm proud to announce that I'm a part of the first international baccalaureate cohort here at LaGrange High. And I love to say that I was developed here. Like, my presence at LHS would definitely be a part of the drummer program. I've had the opportunity to have 2 leads. I've had the opportunity to be casted in 5 plays. Coming in my 10th grade year, that's when I found my essence of the drummer club. My 9th grade year, I was a little ninth grade basketball player. I like to throw that out there in my little resumes and stuff. But yeah, that's who I am. I like to speak for here at LaGrange. I'm the public announcer, and that's just a little bit of what I do here at LHS.
And look, guys, I'm going to tell you what, if you guys missed the last production that our drama team put on, and that was Rumors, Demetri absolutely killed it. He had me rolling the whole time. So I could go back and just watch that show over and over. Thank you, Demetri. Next, we'll move over here to Miss Alisa Lee.
Hi, so my name is Alisa Lee. I'm also part of the first cohort of the IB program here at LaGrange High School. A little bit about what I do here at LHS. I'm the president of the service club this year, which I'm honored to say I am. I'm also president of National Honor Society and girls varsity tennis captain. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Alisa. And last but not least, we're going over here to Mr. Carson Farris. Carson, tell us a little bit about yourself and your time here at LaGrange High School.
Yeah, so I'm also a senior here at LaGrange, and I've been an IB for these past 2 years. It's been very difficult, but it's taught me a lot about myself and how I learn and whatnot. At LaGrange, I'm in a variety of clubs. I'm an officer at LHS. I'm in Service Club FBLA, but I have spent a lot of my time at Drama Club. I haven't gotten as much leads as Demetri over here has. Not very good, but I really did enjoy it. But I've spent most of my time kind of focusing on my academics and whatnot. But I really am grateful for everything that LHS has done for me as a student and person.
Awesome. One of the things, I know we got a question, but I've heard something that's been kind of a common thread that's just run through the 3 of you guys. And, with all the things that you're doing outside the classroom or that you have done outside the classroom, all 3 of you are in the IB program, right?
Yes,
so you're in that first cohort, the kind of the guinea pigs, as we kind of call you guys. If you had to go back to your sophomore year, knowing that going into your junior year, you could either go into IB or not go into IB, would you guys change that?
It's a good question.
I wouldn't, personally. I think it's taught me a lot about worth ethic, oh my God, and time management. And it's definitely helped prepare me for college and further beyond.
Right, I would definitely, if I had to go back, I would definitely do IB. I mean, it's been an extraordinary process. It's not only just a program that is like international, of course, it's in the name, but it's a setting that you get to develop extreme camaraderie, not only with the students, but also with the teachers. I think the IB has gave me the opportunity of many things outside of the school, like you said, like Gates finalists, getting accepted to some of these premier public Ivies, what they like to call it. But I feel like that's truly what IB is about, and not only academic-wise, but it shaped me as a person I am today, and I would gladly go back and do IB again.
Yeah, so as for me, I definitely would do IB. Like I mentioned in my introduction, and kind of what Demetri said, it's like a sense of camaraderie that you wouldn't get anywhere else. Like, you're surrounding yourself with people that you wouldn't normally, since like you're with the same 40 people for 2 years. So it's definitely like really important there, especially since like with other classes or APs or whatnot, like you don't get those connections with your teachers. Like it's more personal in IB. And also, like, it's been extremely difficult and it's taught me a lot about time management, but it's also going to make college really easy.
Yeah, I want to jump in on that, like, as an IB instructor, because I know that, like, when y'all were sophomores, it was kind of pitched more of, like, it's going to help you get into college.
Yeah.
And I've talked to some of y'all about that. Like, for me, that's not the message. For me, the message is you're not going to have one AP and then, like, a PSO off campus and then, like, other classes that aren't as rigorous. Every class has levels of rigor to it. For me, it's more about what you said and the time management and the stress management too, which I didn't have in high school, and that rocked my world in college, was not being prepared to handle stress and the workload. But then also I want to like hop on that camaraderie part, like having a true cohort. I never had that until I was in college with the College of Education.
Right.
And it was the guys that I had for 2 years, the group of us that were going to be the interning at the same time. That ability to like bond with each other. You're going through the same struggles, the same projects, the same papers, the same teacher drama and everything. So like you do it together, and that's like a thing that a lot of high school students don't experience that at all.
Yep.
And just adding on to that, like recently, with college acceptances and everything, I feel like I've learned a lot about different colleges, like honor programs and their cohorts. And that's only available to like a limited number of students at each college. But I feel like IB here really gives high school students the opportunity to experience that kind of connection, which I think is great to do like at an early age.
Awesome. Hey, well, I'm going to go a little bit off script. So that being said, I got my question here, but Mr. Demetri Hatten,
Yes, sir.
who did you study to play that part that you did in your last drama? I mean, that's your question. And listen,
We sent them high school tapes of Keto.
Alisa, being the president of everything, and I do mean everything, how does it feel to be like, okay, there she goes, there's Madam President. What do you mean president? You just said you were the president of what? You said about 5 different associations. And then for you, Carson, my problem is, how did you feel knowing that you were the runner-up again, not winning the league?
Come on, that's it.
Second, first
All right, let's start with Demetri.
Think on that one, Carson.
Why do I not get a real question?
So,
Look, I have, as soon as I saw you come out and the way you're, I'm like, this is who he's modeling this after. So I'm going to let you say it. And I was like, am I right?
right, a lot of people think I modeled Steve Urkel.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that wasn't my intention at all.
Oh,
My
okay.
It's too old.
Like it was. So
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, I didn't really find my character in about 1 week and a half before the show.
Oh, really?
Which is pretty huge. Like the opening night, he gave me a note about my walking. So like everything was pretty changed. It was a fluctuating character. I had so much but he allowed me, Kemper, the director here at LHS for the drum roll crown, he allowed me to have so much like freedom with the character. And that was like shocking to me, considering this was his like 3rd time doing the play. So I thought he had his attention set on what he wanted, but I just went up there and I tried to act like an old man, and it came off as Steve Urkel, and I'm glad the crowd loved it. So
So it was supposed to be an old man.
it was supposed to be an old psychiatrist. So I didn't really know how. So I
The
wanted
walk,
to be there.
that's good. I was hoping that's what that walk was.
Right. Yeah. So
Well, I'm going to tell you, whatever you were modeling it after, I mean, you absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much.
and then I think your little rant right there at towards almost the end, and you just, I was just, when that went down, or whenever y'all were fighting over, no, you had
Oh,
one,
no,
you had
the
one.
phone-
That
yeah.
was just, it was
Phone call, I
so,
love the
yeah,
phone
it was
call.
all good. I love that. So, all right, Alisa, Madam President, what you got?
I think the question was like, how do you like feel and deal with like being leadership roles? Well, me personally, I'm very goal oriented, and I like being hands on with like everything I'm involved in. So being in a leadership role for all the extracurriculars I do is just another way for me to connect with everybody in that club, make sure that my voice is heard when decisions are made about the club, and just making sure like I'm very hands on with whatever I'm involved in.
That's my math.
All right, I know you've been All right, Carson, wait a minute. So, Carson, I'm gonna try to spin this back to the positive, okay?
All right.
If you could give a listener, a current student right now, some advice, and that is to say, look, you go out there, because you talk about how hard you've worked since you've been at LaGrange High School, very goal-oriented and things like that, and you yourself even said that, you were in the drama club, or you've tried out for different roles, but you haven't had as many leading roles. So someone else got that. And then whenever you went and competed in the Mr. and Miss LHS, you were the runner-up, okay? So again, somebody was ahead of you. And then with the overall academic ranking for classes, you're the salutatorian. That right there, some people could see that as a setback, okay? But then what advice could you give to somebody who they keep working and working and working, and it never seems to be quite good enough, but, they don't give up. They're very persistent, and they don't allow those setbacks to change who they are. Let's look at it like that.
Great question.
He tried real hard to spin that.
I tried. Coach Keto's like, so. What do you think, Carson?
Where do I even start? I think a lot of times, especially in life, you're never gonna get where you want yourself to be, even how goal oriented you can be. I think oftentimes people try to settle for so much, and they're not content with what they already have. And me always being second, from what you guys have been saying.
Well, no, I didn't. But I'm trying to help.
It really is an honor, though. I'm grateful for this opportunity given to me, and I just think that getting to a point in your life where you're not always the best gives you something to strive for. It gives you that drive.
Yeah, one of the things that, and I've held on to this for so long, and I used to, when I was in a classroom as a teacher, I would always remind my kids this when I'm dealing with teachers now, or even with students or my own kids. I'm like, I don't like speaking in absolutes. To me, there are very few absolutes in life. To me, there's only one absolute, all right, and that's Lord Jesus Christ, right? After that, there's really no absolutes in life. Everything else is going to be 99.99999%, and there's always that chance of not being it, right, or not being, whatever you're striving to be or whatever you're striving to go. So there's that chance of being second or something like that. But that shouldn't stop you from working and trying to get to where you want to go. So good job with that.
So when I was at Auburn, this kind of goes to that. So you have 3 classes where teach you how to be a teacher. They're called your methods classes. And in the methods classes, they only gave 2 A's. It was known in our cohort. They only give 2 A's. I never got the A, ever. My buddy Brad got the A. Well, his family was friends with the professor, Dr. Say, so he got the A. So it's kind of whatever. But so then they're sending us to internship. Okay, the one place you don't want to go when you're a student at Auburn is LaGrange High School or Central Phoenix City because they're on the Eastern Time Zone.
We need to preface this first.
Because so this is at Auburn, so it's Central Time Zone. Okay, there's Auburn High School. There's Opelika High School. There's all the schools that are in Auburn, Opelika area. And then there are 2 that are in the Eastern Time Zone, Central and LaGrange. So, if you come to LaGrange, you're waking up at 4:30 in the morning to come to LaGrange, and you're not getting paid for it. So you got the kids that go 2 blocks down the road versus the guys that are going 45 minutes down the road. So, you don't want to have to drive. And that was my internship.
But there was also this common understanding that the further away they sent you to do your internship, the worse you are, right? So
if you got the Auburn High,
if you got the Auburn High job, the Auburn High internship,
kid.
you're the top guy in the class, right, or the top in the cohort. But if you go to LaGrange, then you're the worst because it's the furthest away. But I will say this. If you go back and you look at when LaGrange High School over the last 24 years, when we were, you had some really special educators here. They all came from Auburn University. I did my internship here. Mr. Blackwell did his internship here with me. And
so with that, my cohort had 24. There are 3 of us that are still teaching in that cohort of 24. So it felt like we were the worst one. They're sending us furthest away, but we're the only ones that are still teaching today. So
all right, Coach Keita, what you got, my man?
Listen, let's change gears. This wasn't meant to be this.
Stay on script.
This was meant to be a time that we get to talk with you and just have fun. And about now, let's get back. Let's get back.
Since
to
he
what
said
we
that
do.
you were always second, Carson. Remember who said that?
Yeah.
So can you share a memorable experience or achievement during your time here at LHS? Which one want to go first?
Most memorable. What you got?
my most memorable would definitely be. It's a hard because it's just so many great things here at LH. I would probably say the winning homecoming king, only because that was some moment where I was like shocked because homecoming king is not just voted upon like judges of like how Mr. and Miss LHS was. It's not about you have to be a people's person. It's really about like how other people view you, because this is a competition that's voted not only about students, it's everyone in the school. So I think winning homecoming king would definitely be probably my most prominent and my most memorable experience at LHS, because I probably went to almost every football game. We beat Troop the last 2 years here. Go Grangers! So I think having the opportunity to like be a paradigm for the football program and like LHS itself with winning homecoming king, I think that would be my most memorable.
Cool.
I think one of my most memorable would be just my experience with the varsity tennis team. We went to state my sophomore year, but that year I wasn't a starter on the team. But we won region last year, and we've had a pretty good season this year. And I just think that sports teams, especially in high school, can sometimes give you like a sense of like team bonding and camaraderie, like that nothing else can. And I've absolutely loved my time on the tennis team.
Well, here I go. So I don't play tennis, and I'm not involved with a whole lot here. But
I love Carson.
You got to have a memorable moment.
no,
though.
yeah, I got it.
Okay.
All right. I'm not that much of a failure. So I remember I didn't realize that I was second in the class until late last year. So I went down to Miss Dodson's, like I didn't even know. So I went down to Miss Dodson's room, and she told me, and I had like no idea. And it was like a great like moment. I like went back home, told my parents and all that. They were like freaking out and stuff, but it was great. And but I really did enjoy that probably the most. Everything at LHS, because it's really like showed me like that my work has really paid off here. Even though I wasn't really like striving to be, you know, second or first or whatever. It's like wow, it's like that's just something that happened, and it's
Right.
you know, encouraging to me.
Got it.
So where do each of you find like the motivation to do everything that you do? You're so involved and so deep into your academics. Where do you find, and we've talked about like the IB stress and how much work it can be, and just like being a student, being so involved in your community and school community and outside, where does the motivation to be so involved come from?
I'll probably say like when like me personally, when I think of IB, I've personally seen growth in other students in the program, and having that sense of like IB is a changing experience, like here at LHS. That's like a huge motivation for me, because you have the opportunity to be in a program that is limited to the only school in Troup County, by the way. So having the ability to be a part of a program that you know can personally shape you to be a better person and understand not only people locally but globally, that's a huge motivator. But I have to give my credit to my mother. Back at home, she's always on my back, but it's in a good way. She's definitely a huge motivation. She supports me in almost everything. She's always there for me, all my plays, everything I've won for here at LHS. She's just a great motivator, and I appreciate her in many aspects of life. Of course, my mom.
Well, I mentioned earlier I'm very goal driven, so that's for sure it. Like I'll have short-term goals for the week, long-term goals like college and all that, and that just drives me to get done what needs to get done to reach those goals. But I'm also a very much an extroverted person, and I love like meeting new people, talking to new people. Like I'd love to say that I can go almost anywhere in the school and at least know one person, because like I just try to know everyone. And definitely that, like I love when people come up to me and they're like, oh, like congrats, like you're so inspiring, or oh my God, I love that you did this. Like I saw this on Instagram or whatever. So that's definitely a motivator.
For me, I'd probably have to go with kind of what Demetri said, like my family. They've always been real close to me. They've raised me so well. And I wouldn't say pressure, but both my parents were valedictorian of their high school and college class. So
You were that close.
It's right there.
failed again.
sorry, Mom.
But all jokes aside, my family as a whole, like I have a 10-year-old brother that I love. His name's Andrew. And I really do want to be a role model for him, especially like after high school, and just like going out and, you know, trying to be the best version of myself for the Lord. And yeah, that's really what motivates me.
So speaking of that, and to piggyback off of that, I mean, like, you know, a lot of people will sit there and they'll say, regardless of, whenever I do something, I want to leave whatever I'm leaving better than what it was when I got there, right? So you've been here for 4 years. and we talk about, in-class accolades and things like that, and, Val, Sal kind of stuff, distinguished honor grad, that deal. But like, what do you guys do, or what have you done that you can see as a contribution on LaGrange High School that you've left, or that you've made outside of the classroom? Like, how have you made LaGrange, your time here, how you have made LaGrange High School a better place?
So I know for me, also piggybacking off of Carson, I have a little brother as well. He'll be a freshman next year, and I, like, part of what I want to be, like when I say I want to be a role model for people or an inspiration, is being an inspiration for him, and like, because I know I grew up with role models that I looked towards who graduated like years ago, and they were also very involved and like very active in different extracurriculars here. I would also like to say, like, leaving my impact would be my community. Like, there's a lot of Asian Americans who come here with like the manufacturing companies as guest workers. And I know I grew up looking at Erin Lee, shout out to her. She graduated, I want to say 5 years ago. And she was one of those people who like was active in everything. And she was one of the only Korean people I knew who was able to like reach those opportunities. And I think I do that for some people, because it's not often that you find someone who looks like me, like who is in those positions. So I love when people come up to me, they're like, oh, I also want to do that. Like, I didn't know you could do that, but now I'm going to do it.
Right, yeah.
I can go. So for me, I think a large part of my time at LHS has been like my circle that I've surrounded myself with, a lot of the guys in IB and whatnot. But as for the community at LaGrange, like, I've gotten really close with a bunch of my friends, and I made connections that I wouldn't thought that I would have, like, otherwise if I didn't do IB. But I think that kind of having this culture of like always being yourself around your friends and kind of just like talking things out with them, being there for people, and that's something that I really have done for my friends. And I wouldn't say that that's left a mark on LaGrange as a community, but as for my circle, it definitely has. So,
right. So going back to the question, like entering LaGrange High was during the pandemic, of course, and it was always this question of like the highest class you can take is AP class, but being shifted from that over the past 2 years with the new introduction to the IB program, that has changed LaGrange High School tremendously, I think. Like me personally, seeing the school when we didn't have IB, and then seeing some of the students when we did have IB, it's like a huge change in students and like how I see them. I also like to think like that LaGrange has changed in many ways. I feel like we're all more like community oriented, especially with my CAS project. I have the opportunity to like create little libraries in LaGrange, and like it's just the little things that we have the opportunity to do that has like shaped LaGrange to what it is today, and I'm extremely appreciative of it.
So I want you each to tell where you're going to go next year, because like what you have all contributed to, or where you're planning to go, but what you've all contributed without knowing it, and you're talking about like the IB program for like the other kids. Other kids are watching what has happened to you all, you three, and but like the IB program is in general, of the college acceptance and the scholarship awards that you've gotten and won, and without even meaning to have that contribution, y'all have had that contribution to the school. So let's just like where you're going and what you're planning as of right now to kind of major in, and how what your aspirations are moving forward.
Yes, sir. So I'm planning. I'm between two options right now: the University of Georgia and Howard University. But
you're accepted to Georgia.
Yes, sir. I'm accepted, and I'm waiting for Howard, and I'm also waiting for like this little scholarship I'm waiting on. But I would love to major in political science with a minor in African American studies. I feel like this IB has taught me so much about culture, and just having the opportunity to like expand my culture about African Americans itself would be like huge. And I also get told that I talk a lot, so I think political science is pretty fitting. So I think that would be where I would go and what I would major in.
So I plan to go to the University of Georgia. Not everything scholarship-wise has worked out for me in the way I thought it would, but right now I'm just trying to pull some money together, hopefully to get there, maybe some loans. But I really am excited for it. I want to do something with computers. Not everything's like clear cut yet, but computer engineering is what I was thinking about. Like it's kind of been a hobby of mine throughout high school, like just messing around, like building computers and stuff, like repairing them. And it's like I really can see myself doing that, especially like coming back to a community like LaGrange or whatever. Like there's not really a big, like computer repair shop. It's like actually centralized in the community. I guess there's one by the mall, but it's like there's communities like that. So like there's not like a lot of money there, but there's a lot of like service opportunities. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, that's where I see myself, hopefully.
So next year, I plan to attend Harvard University and major in neuroscience on a pre-med track. I've always wanted to be a doctor, and I particularly find neuroscience interesting because it's like a junction of like bio and chem and psychology and all that. I'm very interested in that. I'm also planning to do a secondary in government. I've been really active with the local government through LaGrange Youth Council. I've worked with the city council and mayor and different organizations in the state, and it's really inspired me to stay active in advocacy and like social justice.
Cool. That's awesome. So, there's a couple of things that we do every year, and over the course of 180 days, and there's certain nights that you just kind of live for because you get to see our students in a different type of environment. One of those is Mr. and Miss LHS. And one of the really cool and neat things, and I don't know if you guys know kind of the whole process with that, but our students go through an interview process with 4 judges, and then on the stage in front of everybody that's there, they have the dreaded fishbowl. Okay, where they are picking random questions, and on the spot, they have to answer those questions with all the lights shining in their face. And you know what? I think it would be really cool today if we flip that script and we have our 3 students to pick a question each for each of us, myself, Mr. Blackwell, and Coach Kita, and let's see how well we perform under pressure. So let's do that. So who wants to go first?
I would love to
All
go
right,
first.
so Demetri, who you drawing for?
I want to draw for Mr.
I think Carson should go first.
Okay.
No, I think Carson should.
So
Yeah, I feel like it's more fitting.
Demetri just said I'm drawing first. Okay. All right, so Demetri's drawing first, and he wants to draw for Coach Kita. So here you go. Coach Kita, are you ready?
I guess I am.
Let's see. Coach Kita. Question 28. What would you do if you could be principal for the day at LHS?
Does that one even count? Can we? I mean, does that? Come on now. I mean, like he does that job already, right?
Oh my God.
Recorded, by the way.
Come on, man.
Hey guys, on a serious note, it was nice just hanging out with you all guys. I mean, seriously, we do not get this opportunity just to hang out and just talk with you all and, cut up a little bit. But that being said, if I got to be the principal for one day, oh my gosh.
That was his refractory period, trying to think of an answer.
Just know
I think I wouldn't go to the cafeteria.
Oh, okay.
Cafeteria
there you
duty.
go.
That's one of the things that consume most of my time. So as being principal, I get to spend some time in the office and probably, talk with my teachers a little bit. So that's one thing we don't get a lot to do. So that's what I would do.
All right, who's got the next question?
Terrible answer.
Carson, who is this one for?
Carson's up second.
Not do cafeteria duty.
This is for Mr. Blackwell.
All right.
All right. If you could teach a new class in school, what would it be?
God. It's hard because I am teaching a new class, right? Like the IB class is like brand new.
Yeah, so you'd be losing Mr. and Mrs. LHS right now.
Yeah,
Just like me, like I would know.
Well, no,
You wouldn't even
to
get
be
my
fair,
route.
we didn't spend a week practicing these in our 4th block either, but started out there.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well, if I were to teach a new class, golly,
-3 points.
I know that's tough.
-4 points.
Isn't there a buzzer time on this?
Look,
right
this
here?
is why I wanted each person to have to answer it.
This is like off the cuff, man.
Yeah, I love the classes I teach. I guess I'd go to AP Government. And the reason for that, and this is new to me because I'm not teaching it right now, so it's a new class to me.
But he's taught it. That doesn't qualify, right?
That's not
That
the
doesn't
question.
qualify.
Well,
Like
I'm
a
going to
new
start with
class.
this one, and I'll come back to my brand new class. Look, I just created a brand new class called IB History of the Americas. I would choose AP Government, and the reason for it is because I feel like I like the idea of, I really enjoy teaching y'all for 2 years, juniors and seniors. And I feel like being able to teach some sophomores like I used to, and then help develop them to get ready for IB, I feel like that would be something that I would enjoy. And I enjoy politics, I enjoy government, one of those units is civil rights, and that leads into my class, the IB history class. So By the way, the IB history class is brand new, and I created it from scratch.
How many points deduction is that one?
About 8.
Okay, I'm just
Out
checking to
of
make sure.
10
Okay.
points,
Just for this section.
pretty good.
All right, Alyssa, what you got?
So I didn't pull one of the questions that we were all sweating over, which I was hoping I would.
You were digging through there for a
I
while.
was digging.
She was looking for the question.
Huh?
It's the easiest one.
That's what I'm saying. I'm about to pull a new one. But so question 14, what is the best advice you've ever been given for Coach Bozeman?
See, that's the one I should have gotten. This is how it feels on stage. It's like, get the
But
That's-
worse. But worse, the whole of LaGrange is watching. The whole of LaGrange is listening.
So that's a great question, Alyssa. What is the best advice? I listen to y'all when y'all are up there, right? That's what y'all say, right?
Repeat the question,
That's a
yeah.
great, and repeat the question, right? So what is the best advice that I've ever been given? Really just kind of stay true to yourself. I mean, don't, there's a little line, and I'll mess it up now that I'm put on the spot right here, but it's basically the idea. You know, we speak a lot here about what are you chasing, greatness or mediocrity? But there's also 2 other words that you can interchange with that, and, you know, what are you chasing, excellence or approval? And so a piece of advice that would go along with that, being true to yourself, is that if you chase, all right, excellence, but seek approval, then you're never going to achieve excellence because you're always worried about what someone else is going to say. So it's just, to me, is be true to yourself and who you are and what you believe in, and not seeking approval from someone else because you're always going to second guess what you do and say. So, you know, have your goals, have your dreams, and shoot for them.
I want another question.
Plus 8 points. I have another
You're going to
question.
ask me
for you.
another
yeah.
question? Oh, so
Yes,
I don't
yes.
get it. Okay, good.
Okay, this is one I was like sweating over. If you could be anywhere else in this exact moment, where would it be and why?
Miss Akita, you're answering that one too. So get ready, Coach.
No,
Akita.
I'm about to pull a better question for you.
We'll just all 3 answer that one. How about that?
Yeah, you go first.
No, I just answered.
Disney World with my wife.
I know you go to Disney
And my
World all the time.
kids.
Disney adult.
I am, man. It's weird. Yeah. New Zealand, too. I have a dream to go to New Zealand. So
It would be going back to Trinidad and taking my daughter for the first time and just spending time with my mother and introducing her to her cousins, per se. I think Trinidad would really let her see some of her culture that, you know, on the side of a Trinidadian. So that's what I would do if I would have the ability of going somewhere else other than here.
And for me, it would be going to Trinidad with Coach Keita. So we've always talked about that, and it's like, yeah, we're going to go to Trinidad. Yes, so.
I pulled another
Yeah,
one.
all right, go ahead.
All right. Who should I ask?
just ask all of us. We'll all answer it.
All right. How do you handle working with someone else you don't really like?
I don't, I can answer this.
They looking at each other right now.
I usually, like, I get so focused with the people I am working with that I either am in my room locked in or we're working together collaboratively. So, I mean, I've worked at 3 schools all here in Troup County, and there have been people that I've struggled to work with. But I take it as a challenge to kind of lift them up, help them in some way. They can help me in some way. I think as long as you understand that, we can all learn from each other, right? Empathy and perspective is what I teach, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm struggling with somebody else, I need to understand why, and then try to like make that relationship be better.
You know, that's kind of where I was going to go with that. That
Yeah,
is,
Good answer.
if I enter any relationship or any work environment or just any kind of gathering, correspondence, whatever you're talking about, where I'm with someone that I've generally had a conflict with, you know, for me, it's kind of going back to that same thing. And number one, why do I have an issue with that person? You know, is it me or is it them or is it us or what is it? Could it be a misunderstanding or something like that? So you try to not dwell on the obstacles or the conflict that is between the 2 of you or the 3 of you or whatever, but you deal with the task at hand. Like what are we working on? And you work to that, but try to bring out the best in both and just eliminate the obstacle, because if you're aware of it and you make it an obstacle, it's always going to be there.
Well,
I mean, just like
you can't control anybody else. You can only control you.
Correct.
And so, like, if there's like let's say a communication issue between 2 people, I can't change how they communicate. So I need to communicate in a better way for them, or something like. You can only control yourself.
Absolutely.
I think we have a problem right now because you are pretty much not communicating well. with
I'm cutting his mic off.
Well,
Cut.
2 things. And so I'll tell you this: working with great leaders such I've worked at 3 other buildings. I've probably at middle school, worked at LaGrange, and when you have great leadership, it helps you start being reflective you start looking at yourself as, what can I do to be a better person and to help the ultimate goal? I never see myself as an individual when I get here. I always look at the bigger picture. What are we trying to accomplish? And then sometimes if it takes, stepping back and looking at the issue and saying, you know what, maybe I could, see that person's perspective. One of the biggest things one of the ladies stated for me in the exec department stated, what if? That started to help me reflect as a human being as well as an educator. What if means is no longer becomes negative. It is opening your mind to other possibilities. Sorry about stretching on that too long.
That's good, man. Well, look, that's going to wrap us up for another insightful episode of Granger Talk. We want to give a huge thank to our guests today, Demetri, Alisa, and Carson. And guys, we want to wish you all the best, all the luck in your future endeavors as you finish out the last 9 weeks of school here. We still have prom left open, right? We still got prom coming up. We've got some IB tests we've got to take. And then we've also got graduation. I can't wait to see you guys walk across that stage, give you that diploma, and give you a big old hug and say, let's go Grangers. So thank you for all you've done. Thank you for the way in which you've led this school and the mark that you've left here as Grangers. Remember, you can catch this episode and all episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Just search Granger Talk. Stay tuned for more captivating discussions on all things LaGrange High School. And until next time, go Grangers.